Alright, so this video is way overdue, and in this video we're gonna break down how to rap like none other than Jay-Z, often considered one of the greatest rappers of all time. We'll break down his lyrics and how those lyrics relate to his flow decisions, as well as his conversational tone and how he uses conversational phrases in order to enliven his music, getting quoted so much that in the street sometimes he's quoted more than Shakespeare or even the scripture itself. So if you're an up-and-coming rapper who wants to step up their lyrical ability, or if you're just a fan and Hovaologist like myself, this is the video for you. Now, before we begin, be sure to subscribe to this channel with notifications because we drop weekly videos breaking down many of the greatest rap artists of all time, including Nas, Eminem, and of course Jay-Z, as we are doing here. And if you're an up-and-coming artist trying to take this thing professional, check out our 6-week artist development course, Rap Tycoon, where we'll show you how to turn your rapping skills into a 6-figure income as I have done. You can check that out by visiting the first link in the video description box below. One of the first lyrical tricks that Jay-Z does in order to what I call cover a lot of lyrical ground, one of his first tricks is what we'll call space travel. Space travel is where a rapper takes many different images, moments, behaviors, interactions in their lives and puts it together in a few short bars in order to better illustrate years or even decades of their experience in just a few lyrics. Now, we'll be giving a lot of examples to illustrate our points in this video, so just to start, let's give you a couple bars from the start of Jay-Z's classic Hard Knock Life anthem so that you can see what we mean by space travel. From standing on the corners bopping, to driving some of the hottest cars New York has ever seen, for dropping some of the hottest verses rappers ever heard, for the what spot with the smoke fleeing the scene. You know me well. Now, notice there Jay-Z has not only described his current financial and critical success, but also referenced it back to his hard life on the streets in just 4 short bars by basically stacking the images, the different spaces that he's inhabited as a person quickly in the beginning of the song. The reason this takes a lot of skill is most average rappers or just lesser skilled MCs, they don't know how to cover so much lyrical ground quickly in the introductions of songs or just overall. Most rappers would take half a verse, maybe even an entire song, just to give that juxtaposition of current success and past struggle. To use another example, if you were to ask like an average rapper, okay, so describe what it was like growing up in the projects and like what you had to do. Yeah, they'll do something real simple like, yo, even though I was in the hood and we all was broke, I had to hustle them things and I still had hope. You know, something really simple and matter of fact like that. But Jay-Z, on the other hand, would literally describe in vivid detail him standing on the corner, families in the projects watching their family members to make sure they're safe, black market sales of furniture from fiends, all of that in just a few bars. I was raised in the projects, roaches and rats, smokers out back, selling their mama's sofas, lookouts on the corner, focus on the Ave, ladies in the window, focus on the kinfolk, me under a lamppost. Why I got my hand closed? That's in my palm, watching the long arm of the law, so you know I've seen it all before. What makes this particular passage really interesting is that it's a serious topic of poverty and, you know, family dynamics in the hood, but on a chart-topping single that normally is saved for braggadocious raps or just talking about ice. But by using the space travel technique where you're covering a lot of lyrical ground quickly, you're not having the entire song be way too deep because you're trying to go for the single, while also being able to have like a random aside through space travel of some real deep stuff going on in that description. To do the exact same thing, he has a very serious topic, but what he does is just use the space travel technique to describe a lot of like hood poverty images while still making it quick and easy to follow so they can get back to the fun stuff because it is a Billboard aimed song. Yeah, I'm out that Brooklyn. Now I'm down in Tribeca, right next to De Niro, but I'll be hood forever. I'm the new Sinatra, and since I made it here, I can make it anywhere. Yeah, they love me everywhere. I used to cop in Harlem. Hola my Dominicanos, right there up on Broadway. Brought me back to that McDonald's. Took me to my stash spot, 560 State Street. Catch me in the kitchen like a Simmons whipping pastry. Cruising down 8th Street, off-white Lexus. So again, you see, even in a pop single, Jay-Z has managed to stack a lot of images with space travel, literally going from hanging out with De Niro in Tribeca to the 1980s when he's doing illegal activities in the hood in Brooklyn. One of the ways that Jay-Z accomplishes this ability to cover a lot of lyrical ground is that he uses what I call a listing technique to have a lot of images in succession quickly cover describing what he's going through. Going back to the difference between Mr. Carter and a lot of other rappers, they'll list 2 or 3 things, but they'll take half a verse or an entire verse in order to just describe 2 or 3 things, that activities that they get into, whereas Jay-Z uses the listing technique, as we'll show, to describe a lot of behaviors back to back to back. Show closer, J to the AY Hova. Place shutter down, who the heck'll mess around? Game spitter, rain sitter, Bentley driver, brother. Keep a full clip, I have to empty out on brothers. Dough bagger, no slack, get this thing jumping like 8 blacks. 4 ratters, get your butt jumped. Chris sipper, 6 dipper, wrist glitter, brother. Gap buster, butt toucher. Now, take a second to think about, just in those 4 to 6 bars, how much you know about this person. You know everything about their love life. You know everything about what they spend money on, what kind of car they drive, what'll happen if you test them. So by listing it that way, lyrically, you're able to cover more with less as far as length of song, how many words you're putting in the bar. And by doing more with less in the way that he's doing and listing, you're basically making your rap an immersive experience. Even on pop singles, Jay does this listing technique to make things more immersive for the listener. You know I thug 'em, what 'em, love 'em, leave 'em, cause I don't need 'em. Take 'em out the hood, keep 'em looking good, but I don't and feed them. First time they fuss, I'm breezing. Talk about what's their reasons. I'm a pimpin' and be sent to the world, girl. Better trust and believe them. So if you're wondering about how to cover more lyrical ground or why Jay is considered one of the GOATs, you're seeing again and again, he's covering more lyrical ground faster through the techniques of space travel and listing, even on his pop singles, just like Big Pimpin' as we just saw. Now, the fact that Jay-Z uses listing technique also has an effect literally on his flow and the rhythm of his words. When you look at a song like What More Can I Say on the classic Black album, you'll notice that having that listing format and the way he's describing who he is also makes the flow and the syncopation of words feel like it's listed as well. There's never been a brother this good for this long, this hood or this pop, it's hot or this strong. With so many different flows, this one's for this song. Next one, I switch up. This one will get bit up. I added a little effect there, but you see what I mean, where if you know the song, it's da-da, but it's da-da-da-da-da-da, like a list, like 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So as you incorporate things like listing, also look for opportunities for your flow to match the list that you're making as you're describing your lifestyle, behaviors, decisions, etc. And the last major key to rap like Jay-Z and how Jay-Z does work in his writing process is to take a conversational tone and use conversational phrases throughout your rap. This was a point made by none other than Wale on The Breakfast Club when he was talking about Jay-Z's lyrical ability and how he changed the game. And he talked about the song Friend or Foe on Jay-Z's classic debut album, Reasonable Doubt. There's a section in there where Jay says to his op, basically, look, you know, I'm gonna hurt you, but if this is not so, if you get away, God bless. Now, putting the actual sound in the middle of the rap is Wale talks about. It's sort of like a conversation where we always make that sound in a conversation where we're basically saying, forget about it, right? But what other rapper do you know that's making these kind of conversational grunts throughout? And Wale makes that point. And there are many other examples of Jay-Z doing this to make the rap feel like a conversation throughout his career. Really good example is even on a diss track, the classic Takeover, you hear Jay doing this weird interrupting of himself or these random asides throughout the song. He says things like, you know, trust me on this one, I'll detach you, right? As if he's leaning on, you know, his op shoulder, like, no, trust me, you're gonna lose this one. Trust me on this one, I'll detach you. Or when he's talking to Nas and he's talking about sort of his albums not being that great, y'all remember he says, smarten up, Nas, that's one every say 2. 2 of them it was due. Jay's literally interrupting himself as if he's a fan breaking down Nas's albums. Like, wait, that's you got 1 or 2 albums, right? Very conversational, which gives the feeling that Jay-Z is continuously thinking out loud throughout his raps. Now, this is a tactic that Jay has not only used back then from his first album, he uses it even now. If you check out recently Jay's kind of instant classic verse on What's Free by Meek Mill featuring Rick Ross, he does a similar thing. I ain't one of those house brothers you bought. My house like a resort. My house bigger than yours. My route better, of course. Jay-Z is literally interrupting himself right there as if he's talking to somebody like a child or somebody you're just tired of arguing with. Where you're like, yo, man, come on, man, right? And it's even crazier because Jay there is kind of respecting his audience's ear to know what the rhyme would be. So he's saying, my house bigger than yours. You already know. He's starting with spouse, so he's probably going to say something like, my spouse richer than yours or my spouse thicker than yours, because that would be a perfect rhyme. He even does a similar kind of random aside where he's almost interrupting himself as if he's talking to somebody when he says, look at my hair free, carefree, brothers ain't near free, enjoy your chains. What's your employer name with the hair piece? For the record, all these bars that I'm quoting in this particular song are insults to Donald Trump. If y'all ain't catch it, right, he's talking about my spouse richer than you, like Beyonce's richer than the first lady, or the hairpiece reference. Anyway, in any case, what we're seeing here is that Jay-Z is sort of breaking the fourth wall, like kind of staring into the camera like a TV show, like Fresh Prince or something, in order to have a conversation directly with the audience. So he interrupts himself. We ask rhetorical questions, much like a conversation. Now, I want to see y'all in the comments. Do you have any other examples of Jay-Z using these techniques? We know that he uses these all throughout his career. So post in the comments. Do y'all have any conversational examples? Space travel, listing. Jay does this all the time, and it's really exciting to see other examples. I love reading every comment. Usually heart every comment. I'm kind of known for that. So I'll see y'all in the comments with other examples. And of course, if you've watched this and you're an up-and-coming rapper, check out that artist development course in the bottom. But regardless, I appreciate you watching. It's been a video I've wanted to do for a while. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.